think it was 2003, 2004. I was a big Toto fan. I was a spotty teenager, so on my paper round, listening to all the metal and rock bands. And I got a call to play with Bruce Dickinson from Maiden, which, I played Run to the Hills in my bedroom as a kid constantly, pretending to be Clive Burr or Nico McBrain. And then the phone call came and to play, and it was a big charity thing for a pilot's charity. Amazing band. I remember being in London, got to rehearsals like 2 hours early, set up everything I could with power toms, the whole thing. And Bruce walks through the door, and I just remember melting, like absolutely melting, like real starstruck, real starstruck. And then, we did the gig, and the gig was incredible. And then back to the day job the next day. And it was the most loneliest I've ever felt at a desk, sat there, just been playing with Bruce Dickinson, playing Run to the Hills and 2 Minutes to Midnight, all those amazing songs, and then getting shouted at by customers again, I've always had spikes, thankfully now working with Stephen and all the guys in the prog genre, it's thank my lucky stars, it's amazing. And but over the years, I've worked with some really, really cool people. Celine Dion, as I'm sure we'll speak about, doing album demos for Celine Dion, and Mike Rutherford, and and then when I find myself now playing on this gig, this amazing gig. All my heroes are in the audience, like Alex Lifeson from Russia, Omar Hakim or Jordan Rudess, all these amazing musicians that I respect massively are there to watch us play, so you realize you're doing all right. Before my father passed in 2008, we had a long chat in the hospital, and I was quite frustrated at the time. I'd done some really amazing gigs, but once again, back to the day job and a little bit of frustration and thinking, well, why can't I, what's the problem? And he was like, I love education. I love, speaking to musicians about my gear, whether it's on social media or drum clinics or festivals or academies or workshops. So I thought, I can teach. I love teaching. I used to work as a school teacher, as a Perry school teacher, teaching drums in school. So I thought, I want to start teaching. And so basically I didn't pretty much go out for a year. I saved all my money. I stopped seeing all my friends. I was really selfish about the whole thing. I thought, if I want to do this for the rest and hopefully set up the rest of my life, there has to be some sacrifices. So I started teaching, and I started teaching. I saved up enough money to give up the day job. So I think I got about a 3-month buffer. And I put my name around in local newsagents and shops. And gradually, as people knew I was available, because a lot of the time I was working a day job, I couldn't do those gigs, So the catalyst was my dad, I think, really saying, trust yourself, believe in yourself. And if you think you can be an educator and you have a message, then go with it. And I still teach, and I love it. And I have students coming from all over the world now to study with me, which is just, it's great. So yeah, I got my dad to thank for that, definitely. I teach, I write, I produce, I engineer, I drum. I'm not saying I'm the best at any of them, but, being in control of those, it really, really helps when the phone rings. And, one of the biggest lessons I got, especially if you want to spend time on a tour bus with people, is be nice. That's one thing that people, it's no fluke that people that are working are nice people, most of my job is spent on a tour bus off the stage rather than on the stage. So being a nice person really, really helps. And I think some guys really don't think about that, and communication skills. When I first set up my studio at home, everyone's doing home studios. It's one of those things now we've already discussed. It's one of those things that's like everyone, if you've got a room, stick some drums in it, stick some mics on it, It's not just the answer, I guess the years of experience have really, really helped me. My ethos with producing drums or recording drums and engineering drums, if I can get the honest sound, I like to be the sound engineer before I put mics on it. So tuning-wise, from the moment you put the drum, from the resonance, the tuning, to the head choice, to the wash of a certain cymbal, it can dramatically compromise a mix. If you've got a low floor tone, which is ringing on your kick drums, if you can play that kit acoustically and you think you're 100% happy with it, only then I'll start to put mics on the drum set. Because I know they already sound great, and I know the mic choice is perfect for that instrument. So it's trying to be as pure as possible without winding a load of false parameters into your mic settings. And that's how I like to work. I don't want to go in there and gate everything. And I want this beautiful instrument to shine through and ring and sound like it does acoustically with no mics on it. And it's still a work in progress, but it's certainly working. I get sent a lot of tracks, and sometimes it won't be a mic changement. It might be a change of a tuning or change of a drum head. So sometimes if I'm working on some more progressive material, it's always about compromise, and it's very genre specific. I get sent through a lot of wide parameters of sound, from hip hop to drum and bass, and I try and keep the mics the same because it's pure. It's essentially a cymbal or a stack that I might change that's not going to compromise my settings with my mics.